flat-footed amongst a tangle of rigging cable. "I'm going to draw my pay." And he started walking out of the woods. It had been 3 years since Slip had left the failing ranch in eastern Washington. Roosevelt had promised reclamation and electrification. The high desert country east of the Cascades would be a new Eden. Slip had watched the men hitchhiking with cardboard suitcases to the dam sites. He had picked apples, put up hay, and milked his family's cows for his entire life. But when his father died and the bank took it all, he decided to follow those men up the river, as if to show them the rightness of his choice. The old cow kicked him one last time while he loaded her into the buyer's truck, and even then he thought only of the thick, sweet milk she had given. He sold his logging boots for $5 to a cowhand with a cleft palate who'd been killing himself working on the rigging crew in his slick leather boots. Slip rolled his 2 changes of work clothes and a black suit he had used for funerals into a burlap bag that he tied off with a hank of rope. He pulled on his red mackinaw, grabbed his cap, and slung his bindle of clothes around his back. The last thing he did before walking out to the highway was to pull up the loose floorboard near his bunk. Tucked between the joists, Slip had hidden his toolkit. It was a long, open box with a few of the tools he had gotten from the farm before the men from the bank had come for their inventory. There was a fine Swedish handsaw, brace, an assortment of bits, and a set of chisels that had never been abused. He had a square and a plumb line, a long-handled framing hammer, and a smaller claw hammer for finer work. He had a trim saw and a folding rule. There was an assortment of punches and nail sets and a carpenter's level. He had a handmade knife with his initials stamped into the leather sheath. The box had a strong leather sling and a canvas cover so he could travel easily without fear of spilling his tools on the ground. He dug into his toolbox for a tobacco tin. He opened the tin and put 2 $20 bills inside. This $40 represented his pay for the last 2 weeks, minus the money the company took out for their trouble. With that $40, he had well over $2,000 saved, and $2,000 could buy a future, with any extra going toward happiness. Judd White had loved logging and was eager for Slip to love it too. Judd believed in it. He loved the bunkhouse and the tools. He loved the sweat and the smell of it. The rest of the boys worked for their wages and to build something somewhere else. Judd had been right square in the middle of his life. He woke up each morning exactly where he was supposed to be. He had been fully alive cutting trees, right up until the second that one killed him. Slip shouldered his way past the men crowding toward the foreman's shed. Already, word had gotten round about 2 jobs that might open up. The skinny men drifted out of the brush like scarecrows come to life. They had been tenting off in the woods or in dry sections of culvert, waiting for just this: someone to die or someone to quit. They didn't care. They needed the work. He grabbed some letters for friends in the bunkhouse, promising to post them when he got to a mailbox. He shook hands with the Filipino cooks and bent down to shake the hands of the truck mechanics in the grease pit. He wished them all good luck. Then he walked south and stuck out his thumb. The saws on the landing were rattling in the cut as a crew lowered Judd White's body down from the tree. Dew was still on the grass alongside the road. The morning wrens and sparrows were calling to each other in the shade. Just under the whine of the saws, he could hear the white noise of the Skagit River roiling down the valley. He got a ride with a kid from Cedro Woolley, who talked about his girlfriend and asked him for gas money. He got another ride from a salesman whose car was burning oil at an alarming rate, so Skip asked to be dropped off by the river, preferring to walk a while rather than be stuck with the salesman when the car broke down. As the salesman drove away,